happy hump day. That's right. It is the middle of the week. It is Wednesday, and I hope your week is going well. Chris Higgins in the studio, and today we have Banner Payson Medical Center in the studio, and this week is a very special week. There are so many organizations, nonprofits in RIM country that rely on volunteers to do what they do. They wouldn't be able to perform their mission, help as many people in the community if it weren't for their volunteers. So it is National Volunteer Appreciation Week, and Banner Payson Medical Center, their volunteer services program manager, Jennifer Lawless, is in the studio with a couple of the volunteers at Banner Payson Medical Center. So Jennifer, thank you so much for coming in.
It is my pleasure. Thanks for having us, Chris, and good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Yeah.
And also good morning to Val Blackshire and Kathy Knott. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming in today. And to share about your volunteer experience and why you volunteer at Banner Payson Medical Center. So it will be great to hear. Great to hear, some stories, and also, the reason why you guys volunteer, and to learn more about the program, Jennifer.
Absolutely. I would love to tell you more about that.
Yeah.
So Banner Payson Medical Center is, our hospital in town, and we have a great volunteer program there. I'm so proud and honored to lead this group of people who choose to donate their time and their energy to come into the hospital and support our patients and staff. It's really cool when you see 70 plus people who take time out of their week every week to come in and do things ranging from administrative support work, working in our emergency department. Anyone who's been in our emergency department and has had a volunteer come and offer them comfort, a warm blanket, a sandwich, knows the impact of our volunteers. I have so many stories, Chris, of volunteers who were there at crucial moments for families, whether that was the birth of a baby or something that was really hard and challenging. But our volunteers are there for patients and their families, and certainly also for our staff. I will tell you that our staff and our volunteers, it's like a family. When someone is sick, one of our volunteers are sick, I have staff coming up to me. What's happening with this person? Can we send a card? What's going on? I mean, we are all really connected, and it's such a neat thing to be a part of because we have volunteers. I had one volunteer that just retired. She'd been with us for 25 years.
Ooh, wow.
So people really do spend like a second career volunteering. Not everyone is there that long, but we're so lucky. We've got people from 93 to, teenagers. We have a great teen program before COVID with Payson Center for Success in the local high school where they could get school credit. So we try and offer a lot of different opportunities, and it's really fun to have all these different ages on the campus, as well as our pets. We have a great pet therapy program. So I try and bring it all in, dogs, kids, whoever.
Oh, no, that is great. And speaking of teenagers, I forgot to welcome Ashland, our intern. I'm so sorry, Ashland. I have a room full of people this morning, and it just threw me off. But Ashland is part of our intern program sponsored by MHA Foundation, and it's your last week, though, here. So tomorrow will be your last day. We have to get a cake or something and do a little celebration. Cupcakes. What? We'll have Rock and Ron bake you a cake. Maybe, or we could buy one from a baker. So, that we would have more confidence, in eating it. You mentioned pet therapy, and Kathy, that is what you're involved with at Banner. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We started the pet therapy program at Banner 3.5 years ago. A man named Michael Colombo came in, and he used to do it over in San Diego. It's called Love on a Leash Pet Therapy Program, and I was lucky enough to be his first trainee. So we started this program, and we've been doing it for the last 3.5 years. I have to tell you, it is the most rewarding thing I have ever done. To be able to interact not only with the patients but the staff as well, and see their reaction. I think I get more out of it than what they do. So we're always looking for people for the program, and we try and get someone to go at least every day. If we have people requesting the dogs to come in, we'll make sure that we go. They'll call us, and then we'll try and set that up, that we make sure to get somebody in there. But it's a wonderful program, and I would encourage anyone who might be interested in doing that to contact me or loveonaleash.org.
Okay, loveonaleash.org is how they can get in touch with you and also find out more about the program as well.
And I just want to put in there too, they can certainly call me too. That happens a lot. People call the hospital and ask about the volunteer program, ask about the pet therapy program. So if I can give my number at some point, my direct line, I'd love anyone that's interested. I'm happy to help with that. So.
No, and what is your direct number?
928-471 1294.
1294. So we'll give that out a few times during the program here. Love on a Leash. I remember and when you and Michael came on the radio, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. 5 years ago or so. About 4 years. And what a wonderful, program and idea, because pets, dogs can be so are so therapeutic, and you're seeing that in more places, in more workplaces now, where especially in stressful workplaces, dispatch, seeing dogs brought in to help, calm, relax, just provide therapy for people. So like you said, the reactions, you must have seen, the benefits and how it's helped with so many people over the years.
There's a lot of people that are in the hospital and they might not have family, or their pets are at home and they're really missing them. And so when we come in there, sometimes they just hug the dogs, and they're telling us that it can have an impact on blood pressure and everything, in calming when the dogs are there. But not everybody wants to see the dogs, and that's good. But most people, they want that comfort while they're there, especially if they're there for a long period of time.
Yeah, I could see if they have an extended stay, or like you said, if maybe family isn't able to come visit them that often, or they don't have family, or a pet at home.
I have a great story about this, Chris, if I may interject. So when I first came here 5 years ago, we had no pet therapy program. And Lance Porter, our CEO at the time, that was one of the first things he asked me to do. He says that we'd really want to start a pet therapy program. So Michael Colombo had left his name and number, but just never happened. So I found that, and I called him, and he started the program. He was the first one with Shiloh, the beagle. And on his very first day, so we got the program set up and jumped through all the hoops we had to jump through. And the very first day, I said, okay, let's walk around. And, he was really showing me, because he'd been doing this for years. But so we were walking around. We were in the emergency department. And it was the first time we'd had a dog on our campus, so everyone was kind of like, whoa, there's a beagle here. This is pretty cool. And there was a patient, and the head of the ED at that time said, can you visit this patient, because it's a child? And she was really crying and just, really in distress, there with her mom and her sister. And she was laying on the bed, just so unhappy, in the hospital, in the emergency department. So in comes Michael with Shiloh, and instantly she stopped crying. She sat up, she wanted to pet the dog, and everyone on the staff started crying. We had to get out of the room because we just got teared up, because it was so impactful that this volunteer and his dog, which is what our 10 pet therapy dogs do now every day.
10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. just make that difference. That family left there with such a different experience than they would have if that dog wouldn't have been there. So it's incredible the impact that that program has had. I bet more than anything, we get more calls and more positive letters and more things about the pet therapy program.
And so you can't stop there. You have to continue and share with everyone Shiloh. Where is Shiloh now?
Well, unfortunately, Michael passed away unexpectedly, and I heard about it because I got calls from the hospital right away, and anyway, I took Shiloh for the night, and now Shiloh's been with us for almost 3 years now. She is now my dog. She is retired from pet therapy because she's a little bit older, but she's a very happy beagle, and I get people that ask me all the time about her. So she's a bit of a celebrity. I still go into Ace Hardware and see her picture, and
that is great, Shiloh.
Yeah.
Oh, and now 10 therapy dogs. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
When I came, there was 30 volunteers here. We were up to 110 before COVID, and now we're back to about 72. And I think that the reason we have so many volunteers, pet therapy and other, is because really it's because of the staff. I mean, the staff and the patients. It's such a rewarding volunteer opportunity. There are a lot of great volunteer opportunities in town. The senior center, the Humane Society, the library. I mean, there's so many ways to get involved.
Yes.
And volunteering is so good for your mental health, especially people who are retired and missing kind of that social part of life.
Yeah.
Going out and volunteering, going to church, doing things like that is just so good. Good for our brains and our minds. And I think Val will tell you about her brain and maybe.
That's an open door. That's an open door right there. Val. So let's hear about your brain, Val. Just another word that comes to mind is connected. It's a great way to be connected or get connected with your community and with people in the community. And as you said, so many opportunities. Another one that comes to mind, the Visitor Center for the Chamber of Commerce, Visitor Center there. And this morning we had someone from the Payson Pro Rodeo Committee. And the Gary Hart Memorial Rodeo is coming up, and they're looking for volunteers. They rely on volunteers to be able to do everything they do with the May Rodeo and the August Rodeo. So there, again, are so many opportunities, like you said, and different things to do. So whatever, wherever your talents lie or what you enjoy doing, what you feel like being a part of, there's opportunities there, and that is great.
Before you jump into Val's brain, I just have to say, she's going to murder me later, but I just have to say, that's one of the nice things about the hospital is you've got pet therapy, we have Reiki therapists that are volunteers, you've got administrative support, you've got people who want to be in the emergency department, you've got people who want to be in the surgery, people greeting at the front desk, people working in the gift shop, all volunteers. So if you have an interest that you think, well, I don't know if I want to work with patients, maybe you're not a patient hospital person, there are still other things to do within the hospital. So people are sometimes surprised at that. There's a lot of opportunities, culinary, I mean, there's just all kinds of ways to get involved. High Country Seniors, of course, the wonderful Banner High Country Seniors led by the incredible Jan Parsons. So, but the reason I mentioned Val's brain is because she always says it keeps her brain sharp, right, Val?
Absolutely.
So, and how many years have you been volunteering now at Banner?
Well, it will be 3 years at the end of this summer.
Okay.
So, and it was, we moved here at that point in time, so we were new to the community. I had retired after more than 30 years in education and a new community, and when you retire after so many years of being active and productive and so involved, there is a potential to lose a sense of your identity and to lose a sense of purpose and all of those things that go sometimes with retirement. And especially coming into a new community, it was really important for me to not sit at home and vegetate And I had done volunteering in Maryland in the school district, but when I came here, I was just ready for something a little bit different. And so I checked into it with the hospital. And as Jennifer had said, you know, there are so many different opportunities. And I initially started volunteering in the lobby because I wanted to have that opportunity for socializing and meeting people and those kinds of things. And I really, really enjoyed it. During COVID, we were all put on a hiatus for a period of time due to, you know, the COVID pandemic. And when I came back, I had just asked Jen, I just told her I was ready for something now that would be a little bit more challenging for me. I enjoyed the lobby, I really enjoyed meeting the people, but like I said, with retirement, I needed a challenge to my brain. And so that's why she teases me about that. But I've been retired since 2001, so it's a long time to not have, you know, that exercise in your brain. I am going to be 74, and I'm afraid of losing that edge, and you know, Sudoku puzzles just wasn't enough. So going into Jennifer's office and being able to learn different computer programs, and for me has been surprising because I was very active on the computer in my career, and over all those years, I find myself having to write things down so that then I can go back using it only for once a week, once in a while, you know. I have to write it down so that I can remember, but that's okay. It's just a little helpful for me. But I really enjoy that challenge of being there to support Jennifer. She's, as you can tell, she is a live wire. And that's a good thing.
There's energy. She has
absolutely.
And good energy.
Absolutely. The socializing, I was just mentioning at a luncheon for the volunteers earlier this week that being a volunteer and then the philosophy and the ethics of the hospital, it really is to recognize and reach out and to really spread a warmth that comes among the staff. And so I've always been really impressed that walking the halls or whatever as a volunteer, how many of the staff, you know, are always there to greet and to say how much they appreciate everything that they have no clue what I'm doing, but they just they appreciate the fact that I'm there and that all of the volunteers are there. And so it's been very rewarding. I tell Jen, other than my garden, the hospital is my happy place. That it gives me energy, it gives me an opportunity to get out of the house, to do something productive, all of those things that I found to be lacking after retirement. It really has provided that opportunity to fill those voids. So I highly recommend it.
Wow, that is great. And just have to mention Ashlyn. Her mom is a nurse, an RN at the hospital, right? Yeah, so she might be one of the people that you pass in the hallways that says hi, because her mom is very, very nice, very friendly. So
I'm glad you think so.
Yeah, I'm glad you think so. You think so too.
No, I love her. She's gonna come and please don't.
Yeah, too late, Ashley. Too late. No, that is great. And again, so if volunteering at Banner Payson Medical Center is something that you're interested in, you'd like to learn more about, see what opportunities are available, you can give Jennifer Lawless a call at 928-471-1294. And wow, yeah, it's 72 volunteers.
Right now, we were up at 110 at our peak, which when you consider our staff of 200 approximately. It's a good chunk of people on our campus.
Yeah.
And that includes Banner High Country seniors too, but so we're doing all these luncheons because it's Volunteer Appreciation Week, and I always tear up because that's me. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And someone said to me, "What gets you so emotional?" And I said, because I look at these people and I look at the amount of hours and I look at the amount of years that they have given freely to our hospital. They're not paid to be here, but they're doing work that all of our staff is doing. They're working. They're unpaid labor force, and they do it out of just the goodness of their heart, and it just moves me. And I feel very fortunate in my role. I feel like a conduit because I know that the volunteers are benefiting, and I see our staff benefiting too. I mean, staff make friendships that go beyond the hospital with these volunteers. And staff benefit from these volunteers too. And then the patients on top of that. So I'm in this position where I get to help in a small way make those connections happen. It's such a rewarding job, and I'm very passionate about it, as you can tell. I just think the volunteers are great, no matter where they volunteer at. It's so wonderful that so many people in Payson do that.
And it's easy to see. It's very, very obvious.
I didn't understand that.
Oh, you didn't understand that? I don't know what that was. That was interesting. But it's very easy to see that the volunteers at Banner are part of the team. It's not a case where there's, the volunteers over here and the employees over here, but the employees, all the staff and the volunteers are working together as a team. And the volunteers, like you said, not only supporting and there for patients and people that are coming into the hospital, but for the staff as well. So, I mean, that's a team. That's one team.
I have to say too, during COVID, when the volunteers were on hiatus, and it's such a tough time for all of us, no matter our feelings about anything. It's just been a tough 2 years for everyone, right? Even during that hiatus, we did something where the volunteers did something called Operation Healthcare Hero, where they sent in hundreds of cards and letters to our staff, which I went and delivered to each department.
Wow.
Our pet therapy team sent in, I'd say every month, but it might have even been more frequent than that, pictures. So we did like remote pet therapy, where they would do fun pictures and costumes that were thinking of you, and I would email those out to all the staff, and you'd see them printing them out, putting them up on their offices.
Wow.
So our volunteers managed to stay connected to us, even though they weren't on campus, because that is the relationship that we have. It really is a familial feeling there. It's pretty cool.
So, and to put that in perspective, so there's over 200 employees at Banner Payson. You had over 100 volunteers before COVID. So basically when COVID hit, not only did the workload increase, but you lost a third of your team.
Yeah, it was tough. And so having those regular touch bases from them, having them communicate through me to the rest of our staff that they were thinking of us, that they were there in spirit, really just shows like I say, why I tear up. These people have their own families and their own lives, but they think about us. And so we're just so fortunate because we just have a great team. I mean, my very first volunteer back after COVID, I don't think he'll mind me saying this, his name is Fred Eckel. He volunteers at a lot of organizations in town. 93 years old.
Oh, wow.
First volunteer back. And he said, "All right, Jennifer, I'm vaccinated, let's go." And it was like, all right. And then the floodgates opened and people started coming back. But to be 93 years old, you don't need to be out volunteering necessarily, right? But yet here he is. He volunteers 3 shifts, 3 days a week with us. And he loves it, and everyone loves him. He's a VIP in our hospital. But it's just, that's the kind of people that the quality of people that are here in Payson wanting to volunteer. So we're lucky.
There are amazing people in Payson, that is for sure. And something you mentioned, Val, that I think about is both of my grandparents back in New Jersey. They were farmers. They had farms, and my great-grandparents, and they didn't retire. I mean, on a farm, or it was before kind of like industrial age, or with farms and everything, you worked and there was always something to do. Maybe, you know, the extent of your work and how many hours you worked decreased, but you were still working, you were still involved. It wasn't a case of, okay, turn 65 and sit in a rocking chair on the porch and stare at the sunset and not do anything. So I think it is so important mentally, but also for that feeling of purpose.
And Jennifer will so frequently, she exudes that appreciation, and she's always saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I have told her so many times, you know what, you need to stop, because what I am getting out of this, I am thankful to be here. I'm thankful to be able to look forward to it every week. So I am getting blessed in abundance for the time that I put in.
It's definitely a two-way street. Yeah, two-way street. Well, wow, that is it's 10:30, just like that. And it's something that we could talk about for another 30 minutes so easily. But again, I think the bottom line is, if you're listening or watching on our KRIM FM Facebook page, and you're interested in volunteering at Banner Payson Medical Center, and you'd like to learn a little bit more about the volunteer opportunities, you can give Jennifer a call at 928-471-1294. So thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you for your time, Chris and Ashland.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
And again, just a big thank you to all the volunteers in RIM country,
Yes.
in recognition of National Volunteer Appreciation Week. Again, it is so true that the nonprofits, the organizations, everything they do here in RIM country, and everyone they help, it wouldn't be possible without the volunteers. So thank you for all of your time and your service. All right, thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Val. And Ashland, back to school for you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And again, thank you to Desert Financial Credit Union for sponsoring the Community Spotlight program. Time to get back to the music with some Billy Joel, Simon and Garfunkel, and Marvin Gaye. But first, an update from the National Weather Service.
RIM weather forecast for Payson and surrounding areas.
Thank you, Ashland.